Hey, this is Jim. It's 11:58 a.m. in California on November the 8th. Please note that all discussions, analysis, and information presented are for general informational and educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial or any other form of professional advice. Quick AMC update. GME is starting to take off, by the way, and it's re-entered its expanding megaphone melt-up fractal. So I think the first targets are a hidden retest at 26.75 for GME, and then we have speed line up into the $30-$40 level, and then basically multiple nesting melt-up fractals. So that one looks really interesting over this next 2-week period. Lines up really nicely with the zone of strength in AMC that I've been talking about for and flagged for the past month or so. And that is out in front of us here. So here's the sort of the setup we have right now here in AMC. You can see there's a 409 hidden retest level. If you guys look at the, let's see. So this is a still of the last video that I presented. And you guys can see the 442 hidden retest that obviously we hit after the Sleep Fest earnings call. But down here, this is the point of origin on that 409 hidden retest level right there that we just bumped into, or I'm sorry, that we are pretty close to hitting. So, hopefully that gets taken care of right out of the gate early next week. And then we start to move into the front end of this zone of strength, much more powerful as we move toward the other dates. But here's the thing that I'm keeping a close eye on. You guys can see from this volume fractal here that I've created for you guys, the point at which the nesting resting volume collides with this downtrend line right here comes late session 11/11, which is Monday, or early on Tuesday the 12th. And quick easy target here, we're looking for a third contact on this thicker downtrend line. So that would equal sort of a spike in 5-minute bar volume to the $750,000 ish level. And like I said, the collision point where the downtrend meets the nesting or resting volume here is what sets up the timing element of when we're expecting to see the rising volume spike. Then as far as the target level, it's simply this, looking for a third contact on this bigger picture volume downtrend. Now the really bigger spike of the two sets up for out into here, which is closer to the tail end of this next set of dates. You guys can see where I've listed where the Anemoy weekly trigger will be situated next week, 506, through these dates, and then it'll drop roughly. It could be anywhere from let's call it to the high 4s to even pinning at that 505-ish, something like that. What's interesting about that is that if you look at this, the next big test that we have as far as price against a downtrend resistance line will be this big downtrend line that I have in thick red. It's drawn off the 6.6 and the 722 highs if you guys want to do that on your charting software on your end. And it's always interesting when we have an Anemoy trigger, an important Anemoy trigger, that also is situated close to or even colliding with an important downtrend line. So that's going to be the case during this zone of strength, predicted zone of strength window. And again, this zone of strength is coming from bigger picture models on my side, and it was predicted, a month or two ago. So it's not something that's just popped up. I also think it's interesting that I'll show you guys a really quick view of where that downtrend line comes from before we move on. Yeah, so see this thick red downtrend line right here? This is the one that, I'm sorry, what have I done here? Bear with me, you guys. Okay, here you go. So this is the 6.6 high. I'll make this a little bit thicker. This is the 6.6 high. And then you'll see where it comes off the top of this right there, of that 722 high. And that is that's the most important downtrend line in my work, at least, that's on the board right now, and something that everybody can track at home. This thing needs to be moved over to this view for you guys to see that. But there you go. That's the exact same downtrend line that I showed you, and it's precise. It's drawn exactly off those price highs, so it can be counted on. And again, the Anemoy weekly trigger, there's really nothing more important as far as this entire setup goes than price moving above that weekly trigger. The weekly velocity is positioned in a way where it's sort of neutral. It's slightly negative, but it's not negative enough. It's not pushing price down hard enough on the downside to play a big factor. In other words, instead of a sort of a whack-a-mole where price would spike up into the weekly trigger and be pushed down if weekly velocity were greater, this is a situation where price can move straight through it. Maybe it wants to flop around on that weekly trigger a little bit, but by the same token, price could easily blast straight through it. And as long as we get a firm close on a weekly basis above that weekly trigger, that flips the weekly velocity going into the next week, and you're in a situation where price can spike all the way to the high 30s, low 40s, within a matter of 3 to 5 days after you break above that weekly trigger. So that's what that looks like. I'll wrap up on this one last thing here. So these are behind the scenes. I have some people helping me sort of put together lists of bad actors on X, people who act like they are part of the AMC community, but make it really obvious in the way they throw shade at me and a bunch of other people who are 100% pro AMC and done way more work behind the scenes than any of these people have. And I'm speaking in the case of Ethan, a guy who's never supported a class action lawsuit against the company, because we shoot ourselves in the foot if we do that. He's only talked about going after the actual individual bad actors, whether those are board members of AMC, executives, or in the case of Citi and some of these other larger companies, an actual company, but never going after AMC as a company, because again, you shoot yourself in the foot. So it's really obvious when you look at how many of these people have blocked me, even though I wasn't following them or ever making any disparaging remarks or anything else. In other words, the normal reason you block someone is because either you don't want them to be able to see your insights, to gain value off of your insights if you think you're adding value publicly, or because the person's, a constant nightmare as far as attacking you, and you don't have thick enough skin to handle that. So all of these people that block me, the reason they block me is so that they can talk shit about me. AMC Scam, his name's not on the list here, but AMC Scam is at the top of that list. And so the reason why he wants to block me is because he wants to be able to defame me and me not be able to defend it or go after him. But I have other people that kind of keep an eye on that and will handle him definitely. So you guys can see up here, I have sort of people listed under different categories, but if you just go back and pause this and take a look at these names, you guys are going to see people who, in my opinion, cannot be trusted and are absolutely against you if you are a shareholder of AMC, and if you are someone who hopes the stock will increase in price. That's it from my side. I mean, this is basically, I'm showing my hand here. The reason I am is because even though the bad actors are in total control right now, I believe the event that's coming will have nothing to do with the company's specific fundamentals. I believe what's happening here, and especially with what we're seeing in GME today and a few other sort of squeezy-looking stocks, that Wall Street's going to lose control. They did not expect the change of administration, and they did not expect to be in the crosshairs of some of the people that will be working with Donald Trump moving forward. That's it from my side. Good luck, everybody.